Okay, the May meeting of the Area Planning Commission will come to order. Can I have a roll call, please?
All right. We have Chris Schweitzer, John Collette, Chuck Innes,
Here.
Jeff Ford,
Here.
Nord Froderman,
Here.
John Hanley,
Here.
Brian Baker, William Verdine,
Here.
Jim Crawley, Jim Chrisman, Debbie May, Tammy Bolin, Don Folk, Fred Wilson.
Present. Thank God we have a quorum. Starting to look like car lots around here. Okay, I'd like to do the Pledge of Allegiance if we could. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you very much. I think everyone's had an opportunity to review the minutes and the status report.
Motion for approval for both.
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Motion passes. Executive Director's report.
Good evening. Two or three things here as quickly as I can. First off, you'll notice a new face on our dais here this evening. Accordingly, I would like to welcome Devin Grackle to the Area Plan Commission formal meetings. She is our new administrative assistant. Our previous assistant, Rachel Tim, resigned just after the 90-day mark for ongoing health reasons. So Devin, of course, comes to us with experience in both the customer service field as well as in management and operations. Her organizational skills and management skills should greatly complement our office. We look forward to her sharing of her time and talents with us.
Well, welcome.
Passing around, Chuck, if you could help us out there, right up there in the front is our email sign-up sheet. Still have a couple of kinks to work out, but I think we have a good path going forward for all digital packets. So please indicate on there your email address you'd like us to send that to, and if you would like us to still send you a paper packet, we can still do that. We intend to hybridize for the next couple of months, just in case something goes wrong. So if you opt for the email, you'll be receiving one in the email as well as one in the mail until we can ensure that that process is working seamlessly. And I'll have some more instructions later on how to obtain that. Our IT department has made this pretty easy for us. It's a Microsoft OneDrive application. So we load everything onto a cloud. We send you an email link, you click on the link, and everything will be right there for you to open up. So hopefully we can seamlessly integrate this, and we'll begin that transition here fairly shortly, probably in the next month or so. We are seeking approval for the annual report this month. So I presented it last month. It is up for your approval tonight. I would appreciate any input or feedback you may have on that. And we have a couple of handouts there in front of you. And the first one I touched just about everybody, talked to everybody about. Terry Acres has an amended plat, and we received final approval from the health department 2 days ago. So it wasn't originally in the packets because we didn't think it was going to come through. But since we've gotten the final approval from the health department, we can go ahead and hear it this evening. It is on the agenda under old business. So again, that is a handout, and there's also one other handout, which was a letter of remonstrance in favor of a rezoning, and we'll call that to your attention as we get closer.
Thank you. Any questions? I need a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Are you doing the plat committee report?
Nothing new outside of what's on the agenda.
Okay, thank you.
Annual reports,
Okay,
please and thank you.
want to vote?
We need approval, please.
I move to approve.
Second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
I was going to hold that till last in case we wanted to discuss
You're going to
it.
keep us in suspense, is that what it was? Thank you.
Okay, the first item is under subdivision minor primary secondary docket number 10, file 7, 2021, Terry Acres, which happens to be
a new one right here on this thing.
Yes, it is a handout this evening. The property has frontage along East Milner Avenue and North Main Street south of Sealyville, 0.85 acres and 1 lot. Surveyor Vince Little. We did receive approval from the Health Department on 5/3/21. Their holdup was the placement of the septic system and the lines, the property lines as they would have been established. That has been resolved. Public sewer is not available. Septic system must be utilized. It is not in a flood zone. The lot does exceed the minimum lot size requirements. Both Main and Milner can handle the additional traffic from the request. Low to medium density residential exists in this area, so addition of another home would not be out of character. The fundamental adjustments to the plat have been made to accommodate the septic system, so we do offer a favorable recommendation.
Okay, is the petitioner present? Anything you'd like to add or any questions you might have? Any questions from the planning commission? Anyone speaking in opposition?
Go ahead. Motion to approve.
We have a motion, to have a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay, next item is rezoning city, docket number 24, special ordinance 9, 2021, 1300 North 13th from an M2 to a C6 strip business.
The owner is Henry P. Ellis II. Proposed use is auto sales and repair services. Proposed zoning is C6 Strip Business District. Current zoning is M2 Heavy Industrial. It's located on the corner of North 13th and 4th Avenue and commonly known as 1300 North 13th Street. It has M2 to the north, R2 and C5 to the east, M1 to the south, and M2 to the west. The petitioner is requesting rezoning from M2 to C6 for the purpose of automotive sales / repair / service. The petitioner intends to clean up the property, which is previously a car wash, and rehab the existing building in order to create a viable business to rent. He does not intend to expand the building. He states that he does not yet have a rental for the property, but intends to build to suit in the future business. He also stated that if he is not able to find someone to rent the property, he will develop it himself for the intended use. The area is considered a neighborhood enhancement area, representing residential areas with aging housing stock, older industrial areas that are in need of reinvestment, and neighborhood commercial nodes that need assistance in meeting modern development standards. Hard surfacing is required in the C6 district. The site plan did not include parking, which will need to be improved by city engineering, as well as the stormwater drainage plan. If an entrance off 4th Street will be used, a commercial drive cut design will need to be approved by city engineering as well. Staff offers a favorable recommendation with the following conditions: an approved detailed site plan to include parking and stormwater drainage from city engineering.
Okay, is the petitioner present? Anything you want to add or any questions you have? Okay. Anyone speaking in opposition to this petition? Any questions from the planning commission? Have a motion, please.
Motion for approval. Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Motion passes. Next item, docket number 25, special ordinance 10, 2021, 3518 Wabash Avenue from an R1 to an R1 planned development.
The owner is Sandra Bryant, represented by Mr. Shagley. Proposed use is an insurance office. Proposed zoning is R1, single-family residence district plan development. Its current zoning is R1, single-family residence district. It's located on Wabash Avenue, approximately 145 feet north of North 35th Street. It's known as 3518 Wabash Avenue. It has R1 to the north, south, east, and west. Planned developments are uses that may be permitted under certain circumstances that are not a permitted use in the zone district where said planned development is proposed. A planned development is a floating zone. Before a planned development can be considered, the petitioner must show proof of one of the following unique circumstances: that the petitioner has a hardship due to the physical characteristics of the land, hardship due to the improvements of the land, hardship due to the adjacent scattered incompatible uses, hardship due to the general deterioration of the neighborhood, or a parcel located near district boundary lines. When it is determined by the Area Plan Commission and the City Council that a hardship does exist, a planned development of certain uses may be approved for any zone lot. However, it must be determined that said proposed uses, if approved, will be in the public's interest and that substantial justice will be done for that neighborhood. Approval of said proposed uses shall not have the intent of nullifying the purpose of the zoning regulations. The petitioner is requesting rezoning from R1 to R1 PD for an insurance office. The petitioner is he was requesting one variance from the city code, the variance from section 113A1 and 1013A2 for no additional off-street parking. The only existing parking appears to be in the rear of the property by the alleyway. It is unclear how much parking currently exists. The petitioner's representative has stated that it is her intention to use the street for parking for customers and to only use the rear parking in the rare case a customer may not be able to park on the street. However, street parking cannot be used as part of the site plan. It appears the office may share parking space with the adjacent property. A special use for a shared parking agreement would be required through the city BZA if so. The petitioner has applied for a variance for a front sign to the City Board of Zoning Appeals for a 3x6 sign, which has already been placed. However, the variance applied for is a sign for a home occupation. As this is not a home occupation, a variance is not needed so long as it meets regulations. They actually tabled that request this morning. Staff offers a favorable recommendation on the following conditions: approval of the site plan, including customer parking by city engineering, and approval of a variance for sign and/or special use for a shared parking agreement by city BZA if necessary.
Mr. Shagley.
Good evening, Mr. President, fellow members of the commission. My name is Richard Shagley. I'm with Wright, Shagley, and Lowry. Tonight I'm here on behalf of the petitioner, Sandra Bryant. She's a property owner of 3518 Wabash Avenue. There's currently located, she's already purchased a property, and she's actually already opened her State Farm insurance agency. She realized that she might be a little out, so she contacted me. She wants to make sure she's in compliance. As a result, we filed for a rezoning. It's currently zoned R1 as stated, and she's asking to be an R1 plan development. That way, as you know, in case she decides to move or sell it, it will go back to the residential. As you also know, in that area, it's kind of a mixed throughout that stretch from 25th to Fruit Ridge. So I don't believe it would be a injurious to the neighborhood. I also think it kind of helps with the hardship issues and the fact that, you know, it's right on a boundary line. And with some of the adjacent property owners, it's questionable. So I think there is a hardship that exists. As stated, a variance was filed because just to be safe on the sign. Plans have changed a little bit. I don't think there's going to be anybody living there. I do believe the sign's going to be okay. And as far as parking goes, you know, there's not a lot of if a customer comes drilling one at a time. 90% of the time, it's to drop off a payment and leave. There is off-street parking or on-street parking on Wabash, but they also have 4 to 5 spots in back, plus they have 2 spots in the garage. So there's ample parking for not only the staff, but for any customers. They do have a loose agreement in case of a storm of multiple cars. I think there's a friendly understanding with the neighbor that they can use a lot, but I don't think there's a need for any type of formal agreement. There's ample parking on the property. Due to the variance notice requirements, we had to send notices to all the adjacent property owners. I received calls from 2 or 3. No one was in opposition once I explained what was going on. One actually said, who owns the property on the corner, that he may be calling me to rezone his property. Because I think he's tired of having people tenants. He'd like to go to commercial tenants. So I may be back for that in the near future. So remember me kindly, please. But, you know, Ms. Bryant's here tonight in front of you to just bring her property in compliance for her State Farm insurance agency. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, any questions for Mr. Shagley? Anyone expecting opposition? Can I have a motion, please?
Favorable, motion favorable.
Second.
Favor, aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next item, docket number 26, special ordinance 12, 2021, 3309 South 7th from an R1 to a C2 limited commerce district.
The property owner is John and Lynn Mast, represented by Mr. Shagley for proposed use of a dental office. Proposed zoning is C2 Community Commerce District. Current zoning is R1 Single Family Residence District. The property is located on 7th Street, approximately 204 feet north of East Weston Drive. It's known as 3309 South 7th Street. And I'll note that is an incorrect parcel number on there, but everything else it goes If you look on the map, it's still the correct parcel. It's just the wrong written right there. To the north is C6, to the east R1, C2, and C6, to the south C2, to the west R1. The petitioner has requested rezoning to allow for a dental office. The property has been operating as a dental office for a number of years. The petitioner plans to add 6 parking spaces in the back for employee parking. A variance to allow backing into the alley is required from the city's Board of Zoning Appeals. All parking will need to be hard surfaced. They did get approval from that this morning from the city BZA. A stormwater drainage plan is required and has been submitted to area planning, but will need to be submitted and approved by city engineering. Favorable recommendation with the following conditions: approval of site plan by city engineering, approval of the variance for backing into the alley, for additional parking by the Board of Zoning Appeals, and approval of a stormwater drainage plan by city engineering.
Okay, Mr. Shea.
Good evening, Mr. President, fellow members of fellow members of the commission. My name is Richard Shagley. I'm with Wright, Shagley and Lowry. And tonight I'm here on behalf of the petitioner, John and Lynn Mast. They're the current owners of this dental office on 7th Street. It is their intentions to sell it to another dentist. Because of the change of ownership, it was necessary for them to rezone it to the proper zoning, and that's why we're here this evening. It's currently zoned R1, and we're proposing to rezone it to C2 for as stated, dental office. As stated, there was a variance filed and approved this morning to allow for 6 spots that are on the alley for their employees to be able to back out into the alley. This isn't anything new. This is what's been going on for years. But again, since the change of ownership, we've got to bring it into compliance. And as a result, we filed the variance. That's been approved. And tonight, we're here to rezone it from the R1 to C2. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, any questions for Mr. Shagley? Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Shagley, Jim Crispin.
Yeah.
Just on the parcel number, one place I see a number, and then on another place it's different. Maybe you or the staff may help me out here. On the first page of your,
It's incorrect on the first page, but everything else is, yeah, we have note of that.
you have noticed?
Yes,
Okay.
but everything else is correct. Yes.
Okay, and everything's going to be okay, no problems down the line? right?
Yep, we're gonna fix that before it goes to the city.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone speaking in opposition? Not, I need a motion.
So moved.
In favor, aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much.
Next item is docket number 27, special orders 13, 2021, 2499 East Margaret from an O1 to a C2 limited community commerce. Would you like a chair?
I would like a favorable.
Property owner is Ritchie Properties LLC, represented by Mr. Shagley. Proposed use is a dental office. Proposed zoning is C2 Community Commerce District. Current zoning is O1 Agricultural District. The property is located on the intersection of East Margaret Avenue and Seidenbender Road, known as 2499 East Margaret Avenue in Terre Haute. It has C2 and R2 to the north, O1 to the east, C3 to the south, and an R1 PD to the west. The petitioner has requested rezoning to allow for a dental office for Ritchie Family Dentistry. It is located in a neighborhood enhancement district. The petitioner states the property has been vacant for a year. The area is a mix of uses, including commercial. The site plan shows the proposed sign located outside of the property lines in the right-of-way. The location of the sign will need to be moved within the property lines. Hard surfacing is required in the C2 district, and a stormwater drainage plan will need to be reviewed by city engineering. If an entrance off Seidenbender Road will be used, a commercial drive cut design will also need to be approved by city engineering. Favorable recommendation with the following conditions: detailed site plan to include parking and stormwater drainage to be approved by city engineering.
Mr. Shagley.
Good evening, Mr. President, fellow members of the commission. My name is Richard Shagley. I'm with Wright, Shagley and Lowry. Tonight, I'm here on behalf of the petitioner, Ritchie Properties LLC. Ritchie Properties owns the property located at 2499 East Margaret Avenue. It's Ritchie Properties' intentions, if successful this evening, to rezone this property from agricultural to the C2 to allow for a dental office. This property, as you're aware, Margaret Avenue the plan is for this to be a commercial area. This is a mixed-use commercial all the way throughout. I don't think this is going to be harmful to the neighbors. I think this is a good use for this property. As stated, this property's been sitting vacant for a while. It'll be nice to clean up that corner. I think it'll be a good improvement for this area, and as a result, we're asking for this to be approved with a favorable recommendation to a C2 commercial commerce district. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
I don't have a question, I have a comment. That was a dental office one, Bill.
Yeah. I drove by today, ample parking, cool, I didn't look through any windows, but it's a cool building. And I know the architect, I know the group he's using to remodel it. I think this will be a good addition for our community and for that stretch of road. So,
Need to straighten up.
Mailbox
I will,
is
yeah.
crooked.
Anyone speaking in opposition? Any further questions? I need a motion.
Second.
In favor, aye? Aye. Motion passes. Next item is docket number 28, Special Ordinance 1421, Union Hospital. Various addresses from an R2 to a C2 Limited Community Commerce.
They've requested to table for this month.
Motion to table.
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay. Next item, docket number 31, Special Ordinance 15, 2021, 625 Florida Avenue from an R1 to a C5, General Central Business.
Petitioner is Wabash Valley Christian Youth Camp Incorporated, owned by the same, represented by Mr. Shagley. Proposed use is a commercial development. Proposed zoning is C5 General Central Business District. Current zoning is R1 Single Family Residence District. The property is located on the corner of Florida Avenue and North US Highway 41. Common address is 625 Florida Avenue. It has R1 to the north, south, east, and west. The petitioner is requesting to rezone from R1 Single Family Residential to C5 General Central Business District. It was not specified in the application what kind of commercial development is being requested, and a site plan was not provided. Given that the area is considered a neighborhood conservation district and the property is surrounded by R1, having a commercial business at this location could be considered an intrusion of commercial into residential depending on the type of business. Staff recommends that this request be tabled until a site plan can be provided.
Okay, Mr. Shagley.
Mr. President, fellow members of the commission, I'm Richard Shagley. I'm with Wright, Shagley & Lowry. I'm here tonight on behalf of the petitioner, Wabash Valley Christian Youth Camp Incorporated. However, the petitioner is intending to sell this property to Mr. Laser, who's here this evening. This property's been sat vacant for a long time. As stated, it is surrounded, there is residential nearby. This is a growing mixed-use area along that stretch on Florida Avenue. As far as the comment about the site plan, a site plan was submitted. It was just it was the beacon of what's there now. This is a great steel building. That'll be a great commercial use. This isn't a situation where Mr. Laser is going to tear down 12 homes to build a building. This has been existing. It's been there for a long time. And I don't think it'll be any different than what had been there in the past. And as a result, the petitioner, Wabash Valley Christian Youth Camp, is asking this property to be rezoned from R1 to C5 for its potential buyer. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions from Mr. Shagley? Anyone speaking in opposition? Are you?
You do have a letter of remonstrance. The lady who submitted it seemed to think that we were rezoning it for a Christian camp, so she may have been confused, but she was in favor of the rezoning.
Okay.
What more do you want?
Still
No.
counts, doesn't it?
A W is a W.
That's right.
So how do we clear up this site plan to your satisfaction?
Well, we don't know what they're, because when they submitted the application, they didn't tell us any information on what was going in there, what kind of business or anything.
We're asking for businesses that fit within the C5. and we're gonna use the existing building there. And that's why the site plan that was submitted was the existing building, because it's a great building that can be used for multiple things. That's why it was attractive to Mr. Leisure. That's why we're here tonight, in hopes of acquiring that property with the C5 rezoning classification. So it did have a site plan, it just didn't say it's gonna be a XYZ Incorporated business. It's gonna be something that falls within the C5 designation.
And really, the question is, should you have a C5 there?
That's correct.
Are you comfortable?
Not without a good site plan. It has been the preference of staff as a whole, as well as several of the opinions of the Plan Commission recently to err on the side of an established residential neighborhood when it comes to a commercial. I don't know the nature of Mr. Leisure's business, the amount of vehicles that will be coming and going, the times, the operations. Again, we received none of that information with the pack. So for us to have offered a favorable recommendation, we would have needed a lot more information we just didn't get. So that's why we're requesting some additional time be allowed for them to compile the information that we need to offer a recommendation and to assure that the surrounding neighborhood is protected and that we uphold all of the standards as outlined within the Unified Zoning Ordinance for that use and to protect the surrounding neighborhood.
Yep. I think, Mr. President, your initial question was correct. We're asking for this to be Zone C5 and within those uses. Whether it's a Business A or Business B, if it's under C5 and it works in that area, this should be approved. And as far as the site plan goes, and as I stated previously, Mr. Leisure's not intending to tear down 12 houses that have been there forever. He's wanting to use a existing steel building that has been there forever. So this isn't going to be some shock to the area that a building's going up. It's been there. They've driven by it. They know it. It's there. And again, we have Mr. Leisure here. He'd be happy to answer any questions. You also have, I have with me this evening a known developer who has properties all over the city and is a good businessman and a good friend to our community. So again, I'd be happy to answer any questions. Mr. Leisure would be happy to answer any questions.
Anybody have any questions?
I would just say that, but clearly this is out of zone now. I mean, it's not an R1, hasn't been an R1, or it's zoned R1, but it's certainly not a residential lot. Nobody's gonna buy it and live in the church. It's been a commercial use for a long time. Big lot, big parcel, and I've seen most or all of the developments that Rick's involved in, and they're all tasteful, good operations. My guess is he doesn't know what he's gonna do with it yet. A lot of people buy buildings for speculation, and I would not have any problem with it, and would offer a favorable recommendation to go to the council with.
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? That means that fails.
Yeah. So at this point then, so a motion was made for a favorable recommendation. That failed 7-1. We needed 8-0 for that to work. So a motion to give it a no recommendation would be better than.
We've got two other possibilities. We can either have an unfavorable recommendation
Yeah.
or a no recommendation.
Yeah.
Or you can table.
Or you can table it, I guess.
But then it doesn't go to the council, then it's delayed.
So then we go till next month and we try to get 9 people here, assuming the 9th person is friendly to the business community.
Okay, do I have enough? Do we go? Thanks.
Unfavorable, I'll make no recommendation.
Area Planning, my name's Rick Leisure. I'm the purchaser of the property that we're talking about. And of course, to get a piece of property rezoned, the owners have to fill out the application. So that's why my name's not on it. My name is on the purchase agreement. We put a deposit down on the building. I have intentions on leaving everything the way it is. The only thing we're gonna do, it was an existing church. We're gonna go in, gut it, and advertise it for lease. We could end up with a flower shop. We could end up with a lawn and garden tractor place. We could end up multiple different things. So I'm a speculative type builder, developer, and I've built multiple buildings in Terre Haute, which you all are aware of. And I can't tell you who's gonna knock on my door next week and ask. Now, I did show it today, even though I haven't owned it yet. We did show it today to an internet company. And right now, they're in Rosedale, and they have 3,000 square feet. They're looking for 6,000. That building's 5,000. I've talked to them. I can't tell you a whole lot more about their business. So I think location, it's got 3 acres. There's plenty of parking. So it's an empty building setting, and it was a church. I bought it. All the pews are in there. The podium's in there. The baptism tank's in there. So we've got to clean it all out and turn it into something, start paying taxes on it. Right now, it is no taxes because of the church. So that's our intention. And of course, with me not being able to put my name on the application, and the realtor has to go through all that. So that's how that ended up. So I thought by me showing up tonight, I could explain what our intentions are with the building.
Okay, that change your position at all? Okay,
Want a no recommendation allow it to go forward?
Yes,
I'll reiterate, make that no recommendation.
I'll second that.
all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Okay,
Can we table it to next month?
excuse me?
Can we just table it to next month?
Or you,
I haven't voted yet, so. Haven't got a vote on the table, right? I have a motion to table.
You know, it's probably never going to be a church again. I was told today I had called Brandon, which is the preacher of the Revenant Church up on Fort Harrison? No, Haythorne. I had talked to him today, and he had made the remark that a third of the churches have closed down because of the COVID. So the building's going to be sitting empty probably a long time, you know.
not to discount our weight, but you don't want to take it to the city council, you don't think it'll pass the city council?
Oh, I
We
believe it
just
would
make-
pass the city council.
We just
Yeah.
simply make
I think the problem
recommendations.
here was that when Jeremy received everything, he wasn't really informed on the intention of my intent of everything. And my name wasn't even on it. He didn't even know who the purchaser was, see? There was a lot of things that, and that's what happened because the owners has to apply for it. And so when we contacted Rick, we wanted Rick to take care of it on my end. And,
It
so,
really
but Rick's
comes down
really
to,
representing
Do you
the,
want to take it to the city council now, or do you want to wait a month? Because if we table it,
Let's go.
you don't go
Yeah.
to city
yeah.
council.
Your recommendation's not gonna change. Yeah, we're fine. I don't think. So, but
We've got a no recommendation on the floor now.
Right, yeah, and if we do that, it goes to the city council.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean that if if you want us to table it, you can still buy it, and you can bring it back, and you can have your name. on it.
Well,
We just want to have something removed.
see, in my purchase agreement, that's what's noted. In my purchase agreement, if it doesn't get zoned, then it's gonna stay an empty church.
Give him advice, council.
Let me state that we are not opposed to all commercial at that location. Just without any guidance to go on, we don't know if everything that would fit into C5 would be okay in that residential setting. There may be many other commercial ventures, maybe if he gets somebody who comes forward and says, I want to put a small office
So
in
say
there.
there's something that you do agree with and he sells it 2 years later, but it is C5.
Anything in C5's got,
That's right.
can go in there.
Yeah.
If it's C5, it's C5. I mean, I know you can control the first person that goes in there,
Right.
but after that you can't control, right?
technically, you can't control it. We can change our mind tomorrow.
Right.
I just meant if you, once it's, if you vote it's C5,
As long as it's within C5.
see, it's something you thought was perfectly fine.
Yeah. Once it was.
After it's C5, anyway.
As long as it falls within that.
I mean, it's been my impression that in most cases, if we looked at the zoning that it was going to, and picked out the worst thing in there, we wouldn't pass hardly anything.
Yeah.
But it still has the chance of that going in there. But somehow, business and this community has to move forward within the scope of the different districts we have. So, and I appreciate you wanting to be comfortable with something good going in there, so. But at the same time, I'm not sure what we gain by holding something up, another month, because ultimately, this goes to city council and Sealy,
City.
No,
the city council.
yeah.
Yeah. Florida.
Yeah, I think it comes down to simply a land use, and I think, like I said before, it right now is zoned R1, which is incorrect. It may be what's on paper, but there's not a house there. There was a church. There's a commercial building on 3 acres, and there's nobody gonna knock on Rick's door wanting to build a big house there. So I think that it clearly needs to be rezoned into something, and it's already got a commercial use building, and,
Yeah, the building's not gonna do us any good as R1 or,
right.
yeah.
And I don't think you really want somebody moving into the church living there.
But you also don't want to, because they don't get to do it.
Well, and right,
They don't get paid.
yeah, and of course, right now, there's no taxes being paid on it.
Right.
And it is next to R1, but if you're driven, it's free home. It's a pretty good free road that blocks the rest of the residential. North
Florida Avenue's up there.
Let's go forward, go to city council.
Okay.
We think it'd be time to,
So you would like to try to move forward if you can?
With no recommendation, which is what's on the floor. And John Collette's the only one that hadn't voted yet. So it's all in his lap.
yeah, because if coming back in a month, it's not gonna change, unless something changes on his end, having a tenant. It's not gonna change having something. and
They
going
still do
forward.
whatever they want. It's not gonna matter. I'd move it forward.
I'm making a positive, yes.
Yes, yes. So then
The motion passed. No
motion
recommendation.
passed
Or no recommendation.
for no recommendation.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Unless anybody wants to change their mind.
We're not sure how to handle that, even if he wanted to.
Yeah. We can find a rule. Thank you very much for your time.
The next item, I believe, is subdivisions minor.
Yep.
Primary, secondary, docket number 30, file 16, 2021, Bloody Feet Creek. I can't wait to hear the backstory on this.
Okay. The property is frontage along South Payne Place, approximately 2,040 feet north of the intersection of Payne Place and French Drive. 2 new lots of 2.18 acres. Road access along South Payne Place. Access to Lot 1 is along a gravel drive to the north of the new lots. Surveyor is Mr. White. The applicant is requesting to subdivide 2 new lots for residential use. Health Department review it's still pending. We haven't gotten anything from them yet. Public sewer is not available. Septic systems must be utilized. And public water is not available. It's not in a flood zone. Lots exceed the minimum lot size requirement. Addition of 2 new homes should not overburden the existing infrastructure. The plat shrinks the existing Lot 1 and creates a second lot. The remainder of the original 17.05 acre Lot 2 will remain an unplatted portion of the original parent tract. And of course, low to medium density residential exists in the area, so addition of another home or 2 will not be out of character. Approval of the plat is contingent upon the plat being recorded after the plat is dated and signed by the president and attested by the secretary of the commission, and must be recorded by April 7th of 2022. So we offer favorable with the only condition being health department and road cut permit if needed for lot 2.
Okay, petitioner present. Anything you'd like to say or add? Any questions from the planning commission?
Me and my son and daughter did mushroom hunting. It's on the property, and I told my son not to look at his feet at where he steps, step on the mushroom, anything else. We have honey loaf. And for about 3/4 of the way through one circle, and he stepped on a honey locust or jumped backwards and stepped on another honey locust. And in both of his feet were leaking as I had to carry him out. So we drove.
Okay.
Very nice.
Okay.
That'll work.
Yeah. Okay, do we have a motion?
Motion for approval.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Motion passes. The next item, subdivision major, primary, secondary, docket number 29, file 15, 2021, North Point, lot 60.
The property is common address is 7500 North Clinton Street. More accurately, the subdivision is an extension of North Point Avenue, east of the existing drive. 0.22 acres, just one lot. Road access is along North Point Avenue. The surveyor is Mr. Keller. The request is to extend North Point Avenue east sufficient for development of one new lot. Health Department is approved, public sewer and water available. An 8-inch line meets the property line. It's not in a flood zone. Lot does meet the minimum lot size requirement. Pictures are sticking together. Stormwater drainage may be required with this major subdivision. North Point subdivision was developed as a part of a planned unit development being composed of 30 acres for single-family development, 10 acres for multifamily, and 14 acres for religious use and educational activities. The development standards are based on the R1 zoning. All major utilities are available to the site. Infrastructure development will mirror that of existing lots. We offer a favorable on a primary and a secondary, with the only conditions needed prior to recording would be bonding for infrastructure if needed, and any amendments to a drainage and erosion control plan if needed. And the record date for this will mirror the others, April 7th, 2022.
Okay, Mr. Jenkins.
I couldn't afford Mr. Shagley, so I built myself. What we did back in the beginning when we platted that, we left up one lot because we wasn't for sure if we were gonna run a road to the north. Everything is there, the road is already extended beyond the lot, so all utilities and the road, everything is there, so.
Okay, any questions from planning commission? Anyone speaking in opposition? Obviously not. Do what? I asked if there was anyone speaking in opposition. I have a motion. I have a second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Have a second? Thank you.
Doesn't happen very often, though.